Welcome to Happily Ever Afters, where love doesn't stop at romance. Join us as we share the tales of everyday magic and celebrate life's sweetest moments. Hear inspiring accounts of love, intimacy, and pure joy as we uncover the secrets behind true devotion and partnerships that really work. Brace yourself for a full-on heart-melting. Here's your host, Carlos Clemente.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Happily Ever Afters, where a little bit of love can go a long way. And speaking of long way, our guests can tell us that as well. I'm the host, my co-host, I forgot who I was for a minute, is the wonderful, the talented Dorothy Lucy. How are you today?
Good.
All right.
Married 30 years, so let's see if I have anything to add to this conversation about love.
Well, we got something, before we get into our guests, we got something new this time. We have a sponsor. All right? I'm excited to announce that our sponsor for today's show is Boneyard Bistro. How sweet it is. That's what you got to remember about this. How sweet it is. All right? Go into Boneyard Bistro. I can't even say it right. Fill out their Happily Ever Afters card. There'll be a little card. And there's a chance to win a free signature dessert. It'll be banana pudding brulee. Brulee. Okay, I'm not used to all these fancy names, but banana pudding, that's how you got to say it.
I think it's a fancy banana pudding, and it sounds really good.
Yeah. Well, they're celebrating their 20th year, and they're located in Sherman Oaks in one of LA's most consistent restaurants, featuring eclectic small bites, handcrafted cocktails, extensive beer and whiskey lists. Oh, okay, got my attention now. Traditional smoked and wood-grilled meats, all served in an upscale setting with a cool vibe. And they also are featuring smokehouse turkeys and hams for Thanksgiving. So order forms are on their website, and we will repeat that at the end of the show. So, with that, let's go to our guests. Today, our guests are Gerald Kelly and Lamara Hunter Kelly. They have a show on HBO Max called Coming from America. It's kind of a reality show. So, let's get started, and welcome to the show. Lamara, where are you?
Hi, everyone, and good evening/afternoon to Dorothy and Carlos. And before we get into that question, I was just really getting hungry listening to your sponsor, okay? And then when you gave the pitch, I was like, a wonderful song popped in my head. You were saying how sweet it is, and of course, this is a happily ever after, so how sweet it is to be loved by you. So I just wanted to put that out there this evening. Happy to be loved by my husband, Gerald, I'm out of state. He's at home. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia right now. And my husband can share where he's located currently.
I'm home in Springfield, Massachusetts.
You're home with all the kids?
A little bit more enthusiasm, Gerald.
Well, he's exhausted. He's home with the kids.
There's only one kid here.
With one no kid. S, just one.
Nothing.
The show is not on Hulu. The show is on HBO Max.
Oh, okay.
Coming from America. Her name is Lamara Hunter Kelly. I'm Gerald Kelly.
Right.
That's what he said.
Yeah. No, he said Gerald and Lamara Hunter Kelly.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not a hunter.
I'm gonna tell my daddy.
You're just a gatherer. You're not a hunter.
Yeah,
actually, you're a comedian.
Now you're not a hunter. Now, okay. You hear that, Daddy?
So you're a comedian, and 3 of your kids are comedians, and you guys go on the road?
Yeah, I have a 31-year-old son who's been doing stand-up comedy since he was 10. He's on Netflix. He's on Comedy Central, HBO. I have an 18-year-old son that started doing comedy at the age of 6. He travels off and on with us. He's in and out of the game. And me and my wife share an amazing little 11-year-old phenom. He started stand-up comedy at the age of 3, little Hunter Kelly. That's who's home with me right now. He's actually, before we got on the Zoom, he was actually working on some stand-up. We have a heavy stand-up comedy load this week, so we about to hit the road for a bunch of shows coming up. So it's the first father and sons comedy tour in the history of stand-up comedy, and
Wow.
none of this stuff would be possible without the glue. The wife is the glue, my queen right there. You just left this morning. And I miss you already. I can't.
Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet.
I saw a post of yours on Instagram where you just said something about my gorgeous wife, and I just thought, not all husbands post that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I love my baby.
How does a house full of comedians work? how
Hard.
Better be damn
okay?
funny.
We work hard, and they work hard, but I work harder because they think everything is a joke, or they make everything a joke, and everything is not a joke. So I have to be the person who brings them back down to earth and says, okay, that's not a joke. I need you to take this serious for a minute.
Yeah, 'cause
So we're
run the
constantly
business
doing
end.
that. Yeah. I'm bringing that balance that they absolutely need.
Well, how did this start? How did you two start?
I'll let you lead with that story and just try to be as actually correct.
Look, I
with
love
the
it when there's
content
two
this
different
time.
versions of the story.
It's several.
I always lead with the story. Why don't you lead with the story this time?
No, because I have to correct you. So go ahead.
No, I want to correct you because I know my version of it.
All right. So
I was hosting an event years ago. I want to say 13-ish, 14 years ago in Connecticut, Bridgeport, Connecticut. Shout out to Bridgeport, Connecticut. It was a musical event. I was a comedian that's hosting the event. I think one other comedian. And there was a group named Intro, I think, that was on the lineup. I believe Intro. And I was on stage. I got up the stage and started walking around talking to people in the audience. And I seen this beautiful woman, this beautiful sister sitting there. And I was like, I forgot that I was in front of a whole bunch of people, other people who was being entertained. I started talking to her like it was just us there. That's how I felt. I felt like it was just us two there. And I said, "You're so beautiful. Oh my God, you're gorgeous. I want to talk to you after the show. I'm serious." And then I got back to my routine. After the show was over, I was selling some merchandise. I think it was selling like DVDs or CDs outside after the show, my comedy CDs. And everybody was waving to me, hugging me. And she walked by and she just said, "Nice meeting you," and kept walking. I said, No. Ain't no nice meeting me. I left my whole table there with all my merchandise, went outside to talk to her. She had it was a guy with her. And I was like, who's this? I'm saying, who's this guy? But he wasn't really, with her, but he was, was with her. But anyway.
Be clear, because I don't want
All right.
you
What
to say
is your version?
I was with some guy. I was with my photographer. Let's rewind a little bit. I'm a music journalist, and I was there to interview and review the artists that were on the show that he was hosting.
Uh-huh.
And so when he says I was with some guy, I was with there's no air quotations. This is factual. Okay. I was with my photographer that evening. I didn't want to go to the show, but I went to the show because it was interesting. The dynamics of the show being that one of the lead singers of that group had actually passed away. And so I went to the event. It didn't do well, so I was already just over it and ready to go home. And so when Gerald, after the show, was trying to engage in conversation, I was really just quick to the point. I was ready to go. But we did end up exchanging contact information.
Oh,
I mean, he was
contact
very
information.
persistent in a good way, like in a loving, he wasn't aggressive. He was just very adamant about connecting and staying connected. And so we exchanged contact information. We did talk on the phone that evening. And then after that, we didn't talk about for 6 months, maybe. I think it was 6 months or so.
Yep.
Yeah. I was really just career driven and focused. I was a single mom at the time, and I was just really focused on raising my children. He makes that face because he has jokes about every aspect of our relationship. So
Wait, do you still find him funny?
I do. He's naturally funny. Sometimes he can definitely be over the top, but he can take any situation and turn it into comedy. And that is definitely more than a talent, it's a gift. So yes, and I don't just say that because he's my husband. I'm very honest and transparent about stuff. If I didn't think he was funny, I'd say, Gerald, I'm not with you because of your eyes. I'm not with you because of your comedy. I'm with you because of your heart.
Is that
That's really why I'm with him, is because of his big heart. We'll talk about that later, but back to you and your story, Gerald.
Your story, his story.
Your story, your version.
So I was so into this beautiful woman when she drove off and went back to wherever she was going. I think she was coming up here to Mass. And I went to New York. Me and my other buddies, my other comedian buddies, we drove back to New York, about an hour and a half ride back into New York. And I go, whoa, I forgot to get paid. I forgot to get paid for the show.
She made you forget
by
that?
love.
Now you're talking 13, 14 years ago. Wasn't no Zelle and Cash App then? You know what I mean? we had to turn back around to go get my money.
Well, you got something better out of it.
Yeah.
Not
They
so
did have Western Union, though. I think you had to get it Western Union.
That's right. Yeah, the Western Union me the money the next day, but it was just beautiful meeting her, and we just talked that one night, and that was it. And she New Year's Eve came, and I was so naive. I think it was a group text, Happy New Year's, everybody. And people were responding, Happy New Year's. And she just responded, Happy New Year's. But she was responding in the group. I think she sent it to me. I sent it to her. I don't really remember. But when I saw her name come up and it says Happy New Year's, I was like, wow.
She remembered you.
She remembered me. You know what I'm saying?
He actually was the one who sent the text message out to everyone.
I sent it out to everybody on my phone, and it came when she everybody replied. But when she replied, I thought that she was sending it, sending it straight to me, like Happy New Year's to you. And I was like, there she goes. Wow.
She's so into me.
So the next week I got her pregnant.
This is a newer version of the
Oh,
story.
okay.
I've never heard this one.
Well, he made you laugh.
All right, since he's making you laugh, how is this the glue that binds the family? How is the comedy the glue that binds the family?
That's a good question, Carlos, because, laughter is like healing for the soul, right? So when you're going through struggles in life, or when you're going through whatever you're going through in life, to be able to have someone who can help bring healing to that situation, who can help, it's therapeutic to find laughter or to find something funny that typically you wouldn't find funny, or to find the silver lining, if you will, in a situation. And Gerald he has the capacity to be able to do that. And so that's what really helps us to continue to sustain our relationship and to grow, and then just look at things from a different perspective. Comedians have the tendency to look at things in a unique way, yet they're relatable. People can relate to the content, and so it's because of their real life experiences and being able to look at it in that unique way. So Gerald's able to do that, and it really helps us. So, for example, we can be mad at each other, like most couples go through their aughts, and we can have an argument and things of that nature, and have our moments. But then later we're laughing about it because he's making a joke, and I'm thinking, he's telling me how my face was and how I responded, and then I start to pull my comedic sense out, and we're going back and forth, and we're able to laugh about those situations and move on from them. So that's definitely helpful. It really is in a relationship.
It had to be helpful it's good TV, but it's got to be stressful when you take your family and move to Africa.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a different scenario. I don't know if you had the opportunity, either one of you had the opportunity to watch the show or the scissor reel, but it was 4 African American families. We were one of the families. We were dynamic in the sense that we were a blended family. that had came, and to pick up our family from one um, respective culture, their whole livelihood, and move them into an unfamiliar territory. And it was different ages. Like each child was about 10 years apart, you know. So you have an adult child, well, adult, um, you have a teenager, and you have a little child, and they're all sharing their different perspectives and experiences, the struggles that go along with that, and how they were able to find that peace and find their place there. So it's very interesting, each story that the children shared, and then even ours as a couple that was separated at the time.
Now, Gerald, your wife is also your manager, right? Is that correct?
She's like a business manager, you know.
Uh-huh. But
She doesn't do my day. She doesn't do my day-to-day booking, but she's the person that I go to more than anyone in the industry. I go to her first. You know what I'm saying? And she handles a lot of the details, the things that I don't do, or I'm just so busy creating. I have 3 sons that do stand-up comedy, so I have to book shows. We book our own. You know, I book my own shows. Have to talk to producers and production, and we got to work on. Like I just had a 45-minute stand-up session with my 11-year-old son. You know what I'm saying? After helping with homework and schoolwork, and ironing clothes and getting him ready for the next day. You know, so she's the balance, and like if I need things handled, like she takes care of the emails and the contracts and things of that nature. So, but she has her own life, her own career. She has her own occupation. And she wears a lot of hats, man. She's, you know, so I commend her, and I thank God for her. You know?
But that's what I'm getting at. Is that all right? She's your manager, and she's your manager. You understand what I'm saying? She's your manager, and she's your manager. So
Yes.
how do you know which one to deal with? All right, when they make sure they're not the same person at the wrong time.
Well, the thing, first of all, I want to say this. The thing about my wife is she's modest. I'm the professional comedian, but she is hilarious. She is so funny,
Oh, I
man.
see that.
She's so freaking funny. Like, the things we say to each other, just cracks me up, and it just brings joy to my. But you know, she's the manager and she's the manager. It's not always easy because I don't take directions from anyone easily.
And she agrees.
Yeah,
I absolutely agree.
I'm like, you know, yeah, you're supposed to be doing this, but I don't know about this, you know. So, but I've gotten a lot better because of her. You know what I'm saying? And you know, not because of God first, but then, you know, because of my queen. But yeah, it's not that hard now being with the manager and the manager.
Well, I'm not saying it as a bad thing. I'm sitting here listening and I'm looking, and you have this career, but then when you get home, you know, it's a whole different thing. So, you know, you have to, I don't know what the right word is, but you have to disassociate.
Compartmentalize, or
disassociate professional from personal sometimes.
Yes.
And how do you two do that? What, just by
Oh,
laughing?
my husband doesn't. It runs together. I have to put up boundaries. And I taught my husband how to, compartmentalize different things and put them in their respective places. So don't come to me at 10 o'clock at night talking about this email didn't get out, okay? Because this is family time and husband and wife time. And we're not going to be doing that at 10 o'clock at night. My husband will be up all night long communicating with people because, of course, there's different time zones and you have to connect with people across the country and across the world. But I have boundaries. And what I will tell my husband is if you need me to do something, do not wait to the last minute and make sure you write things down. Send them to me so that we can have a running record of what needs to be done. So he has struggled with that over the course of time, but he is learning how to write things down and yes, we have to plan a lot of things. We have to plan our business meetings, and we actually have to plan time, personal time together. And he had to wrap his mind around that. I'm not planning personal time. We're just going to be spontaneous. We're complete opposites. He is very spontaneous, no plan, and I have to have a plan or a strategy because you want me to do XYZ. He's the big picture guy, and I'm the one that has to work on the strategy and the roadmap of how to get there. So we bump heads in those areas from time to time. He shared that on we talked about that actually in Coming from America, and he has come to a better place where we have come to a better place where we're learning each other's thinking styles, communication styles, and we're better together. We're working better together.
How has your show helped you grow as a couple?
How did the show help us grow as a couple?
How's your show helping you grow as a couple?
You want to answer that, babe?
Well, when we did the TV show, we were separated.
Oh.
We were separated. We were going through a tough time in our marriage. Right before we got a call from production, I got a call from a comedian friend of mine who said that there's a production company looking for a comedy family, guy with kids or whatever, that do comedy, and you're the perfect person. So when I had a meeting with the production company, they were excited. I told my wife about it. She was excited, and within a few months of the deal being done, me and my wife separated.
Oh
and
my gosh, how did this work?
The production called me and they said, hey man, we really want you and your sons. We heard about what's going on with your wife, man. And we definitely could have you and just the sons, saying da, 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 da. And I was like, no, man, this is a tough time for my wife. We're going through the separation. She just lost her dad. And I think this would be a beautiful thing for her to go to Africa. She needs to get away. So it was like, okay, you sure she's going to want to come? I said, well, let's try, So we tried and she agreed. And, big part of me was like, if I get my wife on another continent, we can heal this marriage. We can fix this. I'm not taking her to another city. I'm taking you to another continent. This how I knew it didn't matter. When we got on the plane to go to Africa, I looked at the assigned seats. We weren't even sitting next to each other.
Wow.
And she had no one sitting next to her, and I'm sitting in the 3-seater with the boys, with the two little sons, and I said, I'm gonna go over here and sit with her, and she was,
Again, this is another story.
Okay,
that
I was going to ask that.
Changes from time to time. Yeah, this is a new version of that story.
An interesting version of therapy. You guys take your whole family and go to Africa when you're separated.
Yeah, so I want to backtrack just a little bit. When we were first posed the opportunity to go to Africa, we were together. It was prior to COVID when we started having the conversations and started doing some of the pieces of it for the backstory. But then COVID happened. And of course, as you all know, everything shut down, especially in the entertainment industry. And so that's when we were going through a lot of our challenges, like a lot of couples, we were going through our challenges, but more so personal challenges. As Gerald mentioned, I lost my father to COVID. That was a very challenging time for me. And so when that opportunity resurfaced and represented itself, because we thought we lost the opportunity, I had told my husband that I wasn't going because my dad was in the hospital. He was, hanging on, and there was no way that I was going to leave the country while my dad was in the hospital. And so I wasn't sure at that point that I was going to go. And so they were aware of all of this because Gerald was sharing this information with production. And so they were like, well, even if she doesn't go, you all can still come. And he was like, no, I want my wife to come. So long story short, my father ended up passing a few months after that. And I still was on the fence, but I just felt like my dad wanted me to go because if he was still alive, he would have been making that journey with us. He loved us all. He loved Gerald very much. He taught him a lot. He shared a lot with him, and vice versa. Gerald loved my dad very much. So we had already had plans for my father to go with us on this journey. So in spirit, he was there. I was motivated to go there and just represent his idea of what family was, even though we were going through our struggles. So we really just took a step of faith to answer your question. We stepped out on faith. Even when we were separated, we still remained friends. We still co-parented, and we wanted to show our family that even when you're going through these challenges in life, you can still support one another in that way. And that's why we were able to take that journey together.
And what's your journey now? We're coming to the end here, but what's your journey together now? What's the next step for both of you?
We are together. We're moving in unison. We're thankful for the experiences because it really helped us to take a moment for ourselves individually, to reconnect ourselves spiritually and get grounded so that we can love one another. You ever hear the saying where, how can you love someone else if you don't love yourself? We were two broken people in that moment, and we were able to heal and come together. So where we are now is we're thriving. We have our own company that we've had for as long as we've had Hunter, 13 years almost, Hunter Kelly Entertainment and Consulting. We do a lot of business together still. Our family is growing and thriving, and we're really thankful for what's happening in our careers, especially my husband and our sons. Really, really thankful for that. So that's where we are today.
It's so unusual that a reality show would bring people together. That is quite a love story.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I wish, I don't know if you can see each other, but the whole time while you were talking, just the way he was looking at you was just so sweet. He was just, it's like there was nothing he was going to say, but just to listen to your voice. So I could see that connection there. So I don't know, you couldn't see it, but we can. And I just
That's my girl. That's my wife. That's my best friend, man. I watch her and I pay attention to, excuse me, to the struggles, the things she's go through, and the things I watch, like when there's any given night I'm cooking dinner, I do laundry, I make sure the house is clean when she comes home from work. But in the meantime, during the day, I'm on the phones handling business. I'm working with the kids. I'm grocery. I do most of the 90%, 80% of the grocery shopping. I do. You know what I'm saying? I make sure, I don't get all the stuff she needs, but I make sure.
But that's still a work in progress, everyone. But I appreciate the support and the balance that he's able to bring because we work really, really hard.
I just want to continue to see a smile on her face. I'm a happy dude.
Yes.
I don't have bad days. I don't. I might have a bad part a day, half a day, not a bad whole day. I had too much joy and I'm too funny and it's too much stuff to laugh at. And I got to be here for my little son. I got to be here for my 11-year-old, our 11-year-old child, and and all our other children. You know what I'm saying? My 18-year-old son. I have an 18-year-old son. He calls her bonus mommy. We
have 18-year-old.
We have a daughter, a 21-year-old daughter who's in college right now. She's in Lamar. I got to see her today, and I knew how important that was for her. You know what I'm saying? And things just work out certain ways. My wife is in Atlanta. I fly to Atlanta tomorrow, and she's going to be in Atlanta. I think she leaves Saturday. I have a show Saturday, but the producers hit me up and said, Gerald, we got you a room, a beautiful hotel room, food and everything. We got you on Saturday. We don't have anything for you Friday, but because you're coming in Friday, we don't have it, And I said, okay, no problem. I thought about it. My wife is in Atlanta. My wife has a hotel room. I can stay with my wife in Atlanta.
There
tomorrow.
You go.
You know what I'm saying?
Together.
Well, that's all right. We got to wrap things up, but you know what? Before we started, Lamar, you said something, and I'd like for you to repeat it because I want to use it. So we said something about time. Do you remember what we said? What, time is love?
Love has no limits?
Or
you said time has no limits, and I said love has no limits.
Okay. That's what I want to end the show on. Love has no limits.
No limits.
All right. And you guys have shown us that. And I really appreciate you being on the show. Thank you very much.
Appreciate
Thank
you having
both.
us.
Yes, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay. And we'll get our sponsor to send some food your way. But maybe we can do that. And our sponsor is, once again, this is the first time we're doing this, so this is exciting to me. Boneyard
Nice.
Bistro, and it's located in Sherman Oaks. And let's go there and get some banana pudding.
Sherman Oaks.
So-
I know Sherman Oaks very well.
All right, so we go there and we'll be happily ever afters. How's that?
Oh yeah, with
All
the
right.
banana pudding brulee.
There
Sounds
you go.